You're listening to the Heavy Duty Parts Report. I'm your host, Jamie Irvine, and this is the podcast where you will get expert advice about the heavy duty parts that you buy and get informed about what's going on in the industry. This episode is sponsored by Zerk.work. If you are a mobile heavy duty mechanic, go to Zerk.work. In this episode, we're going to discuss the shortage of skilled workers in the heavy-duty trucking industry. And to help us with that, I'd like to introduce you to Kael Campbell, president of Red Seal Recruiting Solutions. Kael's been a recruiter, talent manager for nearly 16 years and is an expert in manufacturing, mining, utility, and construction talent. Kael, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Jamie. Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
To get started, I'd like to ask you my first question, which is there a shortage of skilled workers in industries like the heavy-duty truck and parts industry?
Yes, for sure. It's from the direct dealerships through to the service people to parts people. We hear it almost daily of companies that actually want to hire out of the industry and companies and who want to grow their team and hire to their businesses as well. So it's kind of a perfect storm right now of people want to hire away from the industry into their industry, whether it's agriculture or mining, and then companies really want to grow or maintain their business. It's quite difficult. We're in the middle of summer and people want a little bit of time off in this heat and get away with their families, and it's tough. You don't want to leave a shop or clients unattended, but it's hard to get that extra coverage for summer holidays.
And what's causing the shortage primarily?
So my father is a baby boomer, and he's just moving out of his full working career. And on the heavy duty side and the parts side, it's physical work, and some people are in amazing shape and are going to be turning wrenches and being great parts managers and parts people well into their 70s. But a lot of people may have difficulties, in their 60s. Other health problems come up. Even if you're good physically, there's neurological stuff that comes up. So there's definitely baby boomers who are going to be forced to retire because a lot of people really love their work. They love this industry and they'll want to keep working, but some are going to be forced to retire, and some, are going to want to retire because they want to spend more time with their family and stuff. So you've got this baby boomer perfect storm, and then we've also got some boom and bust echo of, we're on a kind of 10-year run with the economy. Not everybody's felt the positive stuff of it, but a lot of companies really slashed their apprenticeship program, didn't hire a lot of parts people, 10 years ago. So those good kind of 4, 6, 8, 10-year people that would have been there, or even the 14-year people, if you experienced some layoff back 10 years ago, might have moved out of the industry. So there's this age demographic and also that middle demographic where you hope to have some pretty good experienced people coming. They might have got hit during that last downturn that we had. And if you experience layoff, you probably aren't going to stay in an industry. So that was a troublesome time. I know a lot of companies that cut their apprenticeship programs 10 years ago, and then you've got that gap of that four years before you start it up again, right? So that's a big issue, and everybody's struggling in every industry. So there's a lot of competition, even though it may sound and look like a good career for people. I was talking to a great mechanic. He's working at a marine shipyard. I said, "Oh, why did you leave your dealership?" And he said, "Oh, well, I'm super interested. These are all machines, and they're very similar." So you've got all these forces kind of working to pull people away as we're trying to attract people to the industry at the same time.
Okay, so let's explore those two sides of the issue. So first of all, I've done some research on this, and the indication is that around 2020, we're going over what they're calling the baby boomer demographic cliff, which just means that there's more people exiting the workforce than there are to replace them. People our age, there's not enough of us to replace the baby boomers, even if every one of us was fully employed. And so this creates a real problem. estimates are something like 25% of the workforce is going to exit very, very soon with nobody to replace them. Now, is that kind of ringing true with what you're experiencing on the recruiting side?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be part of the mix. But one of the things early in my career, I did an analysis of who retires early. And sometimes those studies include people who are 60 and might retire early. And I found that people didn't retire early. They really like that social aspect and stuff. But once you get to a certain age, you can't work. So if that really is that cliff of that meets with your physical issues that you have, or an employer that says, I don't want people to work past 65, or I don't want to promote people at that they're not actively pushing people out the door, but they might not be supporting them as much as they need. It will be a cliff for some employers, where there's going to be some employers who are going to do things to keep them around, whether it's a shortened work week, or putting them in a bit more of senior and advisor roles, but not everybody's going to be suited for that. So that demographic shift is going to really happen. And we've got some employers who say, I don't really want to hire somebody in their 60s, because I want somebody to work the next 5 or 10 years. And they're being a little bit short-sighted, because a lot of employees don't even last that long. But if you can get kind of 5 good years out of somebody, just knowing that there's a lot of people moving into that twilight of the years, you might as well take it. So yeah, I mean, I think there is going to be a real pinch, and forward-looking companies are trying to think down the road. They're thinking of branding to younger people, to hope that even if you don't hire somebody today, they may make the switch to your industry or to your company in 5 to 10 years when it really hits.